How do we use challenges that the universe presents in our lives to up level into higher levels of manifestation, into higher levels of ourselves so that we can manifest the life that we want? So that's what we're going to be getting into in part 3 of this series, where I'm using this whole debacle that I went through in order to illustrate and show you how you actually use the laws of the universe and use all of the challenges around you in order to actually become a higher version of self, because life is a game of energy. It's less so a game of, am I using all the right strategies? Am I doing all those? Like, all of those things usually kind of come into place, and they fall into place once you actually are energetically aligned into the frequency of someone who can make those strategies work. Okay, so this is foundational. Energy work is foundational. It should just be something that you practice in your everyday life. So picking up from my story where, oh my gosh, the venue was double booked, right? And I was forcing myself to come into a higher level of leadership in order to continue the event and lead the best event possible with what I was given by the universe, right? And so here I am leading this event. And of course, that's not it, right? The sprained ankle is not the end of the story. The double booking is not the end of the story. Now we're in the space. Now we have all the right chairs, right? I've accepted the fact that we are going to be holding this event in this children's studio. And then in the middle of my speech, or in the middle of the workshop, the air conditioning, it starts to leak. It starts to leak on one of the participants. And she's like, hey, Paget, there's a leaking going on above my head. And it just splashed me. And then all of a sudden, right, again, it's like one after the other, after the other, after the other. And again, it triggered this thing in me of like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Now, this is actually, again, an opportunity that the universe is presenting to me in order to release something that no longer serves me. So maybe you have this too, and let me know if you do. Let me know in the comments if you do. I've run this pattern of somehow always believing that maybe there's something wrong with me. So whenever I would make a mistake, or I thought that I made a mistake, or I thought that I wasn't doing enough for people, or whatever it was really, really trigger this pattern in me. And I would go into over apology. I would go into self-doubt. I would go into self-criticism. And I noticed that pattern start to come up in the moment. Oh my God, I'm doing something else wrong, right? And instead of feeding it, right, by going into over apology, shrinking myself and all of that stuff, I was like, no, okay, we're going to handle it, right? We're going to make this not that big of a deal, and we're going to handle it. My husband goes, he gets a bucket, he puts it under the leak. We turn off the air conditioning so that it stops leaking. And then we just continue the workshop, right? And in that moment, again, the universe, most people would think that the universe is giving them a hard time. But I saw, because I practice this work and I understand how energy works, I saw, oh my gosh, this is presenting me an opportunity to actually release even more of my people pleasing. Just needs to be taken care of. That is it. We came in this space to elevate, to rise together, right? In fact, that was one of the things that really came up, was the patterns of control. A lot of the things that came up among that group was this need for control, need to know, that really prevents us from being able to see higher opportunities and welcome in other more expansive possibilities, because we need to know before we can actually do. We need to know 100% certainty, okay, before we can actually take a leap. But that is not how quantum shifts are made. So in that moment, the universe was giving me again another energetic gift. It's like, hey, Paget, if you haven't had enough gifts already, which is again, the sprained ankle, seeing the magic of the universe and how the universe will always figure itself out. It always has your back when you let go and you release attachment and you allow it to happen, right? The double booked venue, which was the universe being like, hey, how can you rise into a higher level of leadership in this moment? How can you hold your space and hold your energetic boundaries in this moment? Right? And then the leaky air conditioning. Hey, How can you actually use this as an opportunity to release this pattern that you always think that there's something wrong, that like you're not doing enough, right? This like layer of people pleasing. So the universe was just giving me gift after gift after gift. If I wasn't practicing frequency work and I wasn't releasing my patterns at a deeper level, the version of me a few years ago would have absolutely folded. I would have literally been crumpled up into a ball and been crying my eyes out. I would have become the victim of the situation, and then I would have said, I am never doing this again. How many of you guys can relate to this on some level? You create like these definitions about what the universe is trying to do to you instead of seeing how the universe is working for you. Okay, so I hope that this lesson is helping you see how when challenges arise, it's always an opportunity. It is always an opportunity. When you are on the path of awakening, when you are on the path of becoming your highest version of self, that path of true embodied manifestation, which is actually truly embodying your potential at a deep energetic level, connecting with your higher self, awakening to higher levels of you, it's all the same thing. That's why spiritual awakening and manifestation to me, it's the same thing. Okay? Because as you awaken to higher levels of you, as you embody a higher level of self, right? And you awaken to your power, you naturally become a match to being able to manifest higher levels of things. Now, everyone's path is different. So what I mentioned to you, maybe you're like, hey, I could have handled that with ease, right? Because everyone's path is different. No one person's path looks the same. Your challenges are going to look different than me. We all also start at different places, right? But the number one thing I will say is, how do I see this as working for me? How do I use this to work for me? How do I come into a higher level version of myself through this experience? How do I, because we always have two options. We can be the victim or we can be the victor. We can be the loser, or we can see it as an opportunity and a portal to awaken and to ascend. And highly successful people, no matter what it is, whether it's a relationship, whether it's career or it's business, highly successful people, they understand the choices that they are making. They are fully aware and they're fully accountable to themselves to make the empowered decision in those critical moments. Most people do not do this, right? So if you want to awaken to those higher versions of yourself and you want to get started on this process, you can always join the quantum method. The link is below if you haven't yet already. But I really highly encourage you to start taking accountability in your own life. Start understanding, oh yes, I am the creator of my life, which means that I can create anything, which means that I just need to remember that I'm the creator of my life. Because right now I'm in victim and I'm not remembering that I'm the creator. I'm in disconnection with my higher self. How do I start getting back in connection? How do I then start taking more accountability? How do I rise into higher levels of self and leadership so that then I can create the life that I truly want? So, because the biggest gift isn't actually the things that you get, guys. The biggest gift is who you become. And those things are just the carrot that the universe is presenting in front of you so that you can finally walk the path of becoming your highest self. You can feel the actualization of that. The power that comes in that, not egotistical power, but true embodied power and confidence where nothing and no one can shake you. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. Make sure to let me know what you've learned in this video, integrate it into yourselves and comment below. Also, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe and make sure to stick around for part 4 and 5.